A few days ago, Erykah Badu posted on Twitter, "Who has a plan?" So I decided to lay out a plan for America. A plan for when all the protesting and rioting is done, that we make sure it's not in vain and we don't go back to doing the same thing over again. And most importantly, that we end police brutality and misconduct in America. The answer is FLARA. Now I know you're probably wondering, what is FLARA? But I promise you, one day you're going to watch a cell phone video of someone recording a police altercation, and they're going to be saying, hey, oh man, that's not right. Y'all, you can't be doing him like that. I'm reporting this to FLARA. FLARA stands for Federal Law Enforcement Reform Agency. FLARA observes the practices of law enforcement agencies and ensures proper conduct of officers, complaint processing, corrective action, initial and renewal training exercises, and the vetting of new recruits. FLARA does things like that AT&T phone call that you get after you speak to one of their representatives asking, did the representative handle your call in the right way? Only FLARA will ask things like, was the officer professional? Do you feel the officer addressed the situation in a just manner? Do you feel the officer used excessive force at any point? This will enable troubled officers like Derek Chauvin to be removed from the force before their actions result in someone's death or unjust sentencing due to faulty evidence handling. FLARA will not be hard to reach or invisible. There will be a 24/7 hotline for you to reach FLARA to make a complaint or compliment an officer that's doing well. FLARA will be in the streets in their marked vehicles, watching officers in live action and showing up to high-risk situations. FLARA will make sure that laws are in place that make body cam recording mandatory. FLARA will also participate in the review of body cam footage to make sure that the police report lines up with the witness statements and the body cam footage. If corrective action is necessary for misconduct, FLARA will make sure that the officer is held accountable, including his supervisors that may be aware to these issues and not actually taking action on the issues. They will identify in certain instances in shootings where police could have used non-lethal weaponry. They'll also look for instances where the police could have de-escalated the situation, and they'll also do research on the most recent and most advanced non-lethal weaponry and make sure that it's implemented within law enforcement agencies. Once all classified information has been processed with FLARA investigations, they'll be completely open to the public. They'll have their own platform for press conferences, and everything will be transparent. There will be constant trainings and retrainings of current officers on the force. Trainings like ones where they would say, you asked him to reach for his wallet, that's what he's reaching for. You don't want to shoot him right now. Or even trainings like, he's handcuffed on the ground, not fighting. You can go ahead and get off of him. Officers found not able to comply with these rules and regulations will be removed from the force, either temporarily until they get it together or indefinitely. FLARA also focuses on officer and community alliance. They hold conferences and meetings with officers where officers can discuss their frustrations and let them know what they need in order to do their jobs properly. In the same way, they speak to the community and let them vent their frustrations, and they blend the two together so that way everybody goes home at the end of the day. Also, the average citizen's desire to get home without being profiled, harassed, or even murdered by the people who are supposed to protect them. FLARA also holds conferences with the community and officers where they discuss the conscious and subconscious, covert and overt racism among non-blacks and blacks that stem from previous experiences, the upbringing of people, political party affiliation, etc. FLARA will help people identify these racist thoughts and learn how to correct them in their everyday lives. FLARA will fight for the implementation of laws that hold people accountable that take the law into their own hands and confront suspected lawbreakers. People like George Zimmerman, the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery, and all of the Karens of the world. It must be illegal to take the law into your own hands. It oftentimes leads to the death of someone, more than likely the black person is being accused of something. In the same way that retail stores keep track of sales and customer satisfaction with percentages and all kinds of data, FLARA will do the same thing for law enforcement agencies. They'll keep track of police adherence to policies and procedures. The police chief will be held accountable for these percentages, and if they can't make the standards come up, they'll be removed from their positions. Police officers will also be required to meet their quotas in order to receive raises and promotions. FLARA will make sure that every police officer, every prison warden, every police chief, every judge, even every medical examiner is held to a standard set nationwide. So that way, when the medical examiner says that a person's cause of death is cardiopulmonary arrest after the whole nation watched him be choked to death by a police officer, the medical examiner will be held to a standard and removed from their position. If you oppress us, then you will be removed. FLRAA will have a zero-tolerance approach to change not being made. That's why it's very important that FLRAA is led by someone in a powerful position, someone that can override people in high places that know corruption is going on, yet they do nothing about it. Someone that can override a law enforcement agency's refusal to release important documents, reports, or video footage needed for an investigation, like the one into the death of Gregory Lloyd Edwards. Someone that can uphold the recommendations of FLRAA, like to make no-knock warrants illegal, like the one that caused the death of Breonna Taylor. Someone that can request or require that an arrest be made for the death of Sandra Bland, where everything points to corruption and police brutality, yet no one is truly held accountable. Someone that we know has our interest at heart, someone that is informed and aware of injustices and racism and has experience with social work and fighting for social change currently. Someone that does not and will not receive monetary gifts or donations from any entity that may influence how they run FLRAA. Now, we're aware that there currently is already internal affairs, but they have not been successful. They seem to be littered with people who contribute to the continuance of misconduct. FLRAA operates on a national level with rotating leaders. There's checks and balances for everyone. Now, aside from FLRAA, there will also be the creation of the Black Wing. Wing in a sense of like the West Wing. This is a wing within the federal government. The Black Wing specifically focuses on the inequalities and the correction of the inequalities of blacks in America. This is reparations. Every complaint made by a black person against a law enforcement agency will be followed up on and addressed to make sure that correction is made and oppression is stopped. This is within the prison system, the court system, the employment system, the housing system, etc. The Black Wing has a dedicated team to confront all of the oppressors of black people, to include the prison system, to include the healthcare system, and push black people into positions of power, push black people into government positions, push black people into black-owned businesses, and push America towards true equality. The Black Wing also runs Centers for the Advancement of Blacks. There they have tutoring, financial management, career advancement, etiquette training, mental health programs with a focus to remove the internalized oppression of blacks. It is focused on the reconstruction of the black role in America and the conscious and subconscious ideologies that stem from our history of horrific oppression and the marginalization of blacks. Imagine them, the Black Wing. They come in with their clipboards and their laptops and their briefcases, and they have their insignia on their uniforms and on their cars and on the building, and they're here and they have power, and they're here for change. They're here for you. We are very appreciative of the NAACP. We're appreciative of the Black Caucus, and they may already be fighting for these changes to be made, but I cannot say that we're winning. We are still losing, and there's still no specific black reconstructive programs in our communities. Fortunately, there are many small-scale groups that are working towards the advancement of blacks. The one setback is that many of them are working independently. You have a sister over here that is helping girls find their confidence, and then a brother over here that is helping young men learn a trade. What we need to do is come together in a unified manner. There should at least be one annual summit where we all come together and realize what each person is doing, and then form a resource list where people know they can find these different resources. And then also find the people who are doing the same thing and have them work together. I am aware that most of my power lies in my vote, but as a person without a major interest in politics, when people say get out there and vote, it's not as effective because I don't know all of the concrete facts about each candidate. A lot of us get our information from social media, from rumors, or we just vote with the party that we're used to being a part of, or the person that the people we know speak the most highly of. I have found myself many times on a Tuesday, not only trying to figure out where to go vote, but trying to figure out who to vote for, who has my best interest at heart. I may have seen a lot of coverage on the president, but when it comes to people in my local government, I don't know much about them. To alleviate this, what we need in each of our communities is a one-stop shop where all of the concrete facts about each candidate are gathered, and we can make an informed decision on who to vote for and find out who has the Black Americans' interest at heart. Then we create groups where we call friends and family and we text them and remind them to go vote. We meet up and we go pick up people who don't have transportation and we go vote together. When it comes to money, FLARA is liberally funded by our tax dollars. Liberally meaning what FLARA needs, FLARA gets. Of all the things that our tax dollars go to, the lives of Black people constantly and repeatedly being killed by law enforcement is one thing worth investing in. There is a rising in social awareness right now. People that turned a blind eye to the oppression of Blacks in the past can no longer ignore the truth. People that didn't even understand now see things in a new light. Do not let the momentum die down. Do not return to the same old way of doing things. When you speak to people in positions of power, keep FLARA in mind. Act now. Change now. Enough is enough. The time is now.